Hello, hello! What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and this is a pretty random review, I will admit that, but I watched, for the first time, Multiplicity. Multiplicity is a 1996 film that's directed by Harold Ramis, and it stars Michael Keaton. And I guess the reason why I watched this was because, well, for one, I really enjoy Michael Keaton, just in general. But for two, I was curious, what movie did Michael Keaton do instead of doing Batman Forever? He was supposed to be Batman for a third time, he turned it down, and then he ends up doing this movie instead. This film, he plays Doug, who is a husband, a family man. He's a provider. He's taking care of his family. He has this construction job where he's the lead guy behind the buildings and working stuff out. And you see that he feels like he doesn't have enough time for all of this. He does his job, he tries to provide, but then his wife doesn't feel like he's there enough for the kids or for the house or for her. And Michael Keaton ends up meeting this guy who comes up to him and says, hey, how would you like to be able to do both? How would you like to be able to spend more time at home, spend more time with your wife, go on vacations, go on trips, and also work your ass off? Sure, that sounds great. Well, it's an experiment. It's some crazy procedure where he can make a copy of you so that your copy, your clone, will go to work for you and do all that, and you can just go enjoy your life. What? Yes, but it's pretty amusing when you see Michael Keaton having to play himself, but then having to play a clone of himself who's slightly more of a dick, slightly more of like, I'm a rebel, I'm going to do more things that I want to do. And then it doesn't stop there. There's more cloning. There's more Michael Keaton goodness. This film was pretty crazy. I enjoyed it. I did. I enjoyed Multiplicity. I think that this had just a good idea, a good, interesting premise. As far-fetched as it is to clone somebody and to say that, hey, we can do this, let's see if this is possible, I can get behind it if it was interesting or if it sounds appealing to me. And that's what this did. Yes, you'd love to not have to work, even though you do physically have to work for the money and whatnot, but to not have to enjoy that, it's very enticing, it's very appealing. It's something that if I was presented with it, I'd probably say, all right, I'll do it. I'll try it out. And then the craziness will ensue. Seeing him, Michael Keaton, play these different roles, I think it further shows how good of an actor he is, how well he can play off so much. I don't know how pigeonholed he might have felt at this point in his career because he had played Batman for a while and because before that he was considered as the comedy guy, so it seemed like he was trying to stretch his wings and show what he can do. This movie does that. This movie, he's all over it. The technology that they're able to do by having him interact with himself in a room, a bunch of characters all talking, it's really good. For 1996, it looks too good. Sure, maybe when you get to 4 or 5 of them in a room together, you can see more of I guess it's not CGI, I don't know what it is, having to mirror the screen, having to, whatever you have to do to get an actor to be 4 different people. They do it in a way that I thought was really, really good. Seeing his wife, played by Andie MacDowell, Laura, she's really good because she just has to put up with a lot. She does. She wants her own job. She wants to stop being a housewife, and at first that is conflict for her and Doug, but he does eventually give in. He does want to give her that as well. There's so many scenes that was amusing to watch, like when the number 2, they call it, they just start naming these ones, the number 2, he gets resentful, and this is an interesting take that they did as well, where number 2 has to stay in the second house, and so he sees the original in the house with his wife and kids, but to him, he still feels like he's the original. He doesn't really recognize that he's the clone. So to him, somebody else has taken his wife, and he becomes resentful of that. So then he goes out and starts hooking up with women on his own, and then there's a restaurant scene where they have to swap, and so that's amusing. And then when they decide to do a third clone, and that version of Michael Keaton is very feminine and has some of that going on. Jokes I'm not so sure you could probably get away with nowadays, but I still found it amusing. Speaking of jokes that I don't know if you get away with today, number 4 was basically mentally challenged because it was a clone of a clone of a clone. Too many clones. You can't clone one of the clones themselves, and so he came out a little deformed. And that, it was some great humor, it was some great scenes, but still, man, that's why I miss the 90s, though. That's why I miss the 80s, whenever period you want to talk about, where comedy just kind of went to places that it wanted to go. Eugene Levy plays Vic, who's his friend, but very unreliable, gets fired, and I can't say I felt too bad for him. Julie Bowen is in the film, Ann Cusack, and Glenn Shadix, who I instantly recognize as Otho from Beetlejuice, so that was a nice mini reunion going on there. This is a film that I very much enjoyed, that I just had some fun watching. It was a nice little movie that made me laugh all the way through, that made me like Michael Keaton that much more if it was possible. Definitely recommend it if you haven't seen Multiplicity. Let me know in the comments below if you have seen it. What did you think of it? Do you like it? If you haven't seen it, are you interested in seeing it now? Did I do a good job selling it? Thanks for watching. I know it's random, but hey, I'm always taking requests. I'm always taking recommendations. If I don't get to it immediately, I will definitely put it on a list. I will get to it eventually. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.
Hustle legit, proper big bit, separate it, shot it for profit. Hustle legit, proper big bit, separate it, shot it for profit. Hustle legit, hustle legit, hustle legit, hustle legit, hustle legit, hustle legit, hustle legit.